So we finally made it to Switzerland. Unfortunately, we can't afford to stay in Zermatt itself. Switzerland is so expensive. So we're camping in Tash, and it's just like 10-minute train journey, and you can take your bike up on that. So that's where I'm headed to now. So I got my first taste of the terrain yesterday, and I've got to say it's pretty overwhelming. Like, the tracks are insanely rocky. And then you've got the hairpins, and I was warned about the hairpins. I knew that the corners were going to be super tight, but you don't appreciate it until you are going over the handlebars when you're halfway around the first one. Ah!
All good?
Yeah. Alright, yeah, that's tight. So that was fun and games. No injuries, but very exciting nevertheless. Got used to it a bit more. Rode a couple of walkers paths that had several of these insanely tight hairpins on them, and then rode some like faster rocky tracks as well. Dust here is insane as well. It's really deep and loose, and the surface can be pretty unpredictable. A completely alien environment, and yeah, I have to say I'm finding pretty much everything about this place quite difficult so far. Yeah, I had to have a word with myself last night to try and talk myself around because I was pretty overwhelmed, but yeah, I'm heading back up today to ride some more tracks and trying to get familiar with it because it's just so different to what I'm used to. This is what racing in COVID times looks like. You have to wear a mask on the gondola even though you're on it on your own, and there's no one else here. The weather is absolutely shocking. It's practice day and we are heading up to practice stage 3 first. I had to reorganise the practice schedule to get enough emergency vehicles up in the area. There's thunder and lightning and rain forecast for today, but we might actually get some snow coming tomorrow. It's meant to be 3 degrees down on the valley floor, so God knows how cold it'll be at the top of the mountain. I think training in Scotland might have been good preparation after all. Visibility at the top of the stage was about as poor as it gets. There was a 1-hour delay to the start of practice, mainly because the race organisers needed time to get rescue teams up the mountain on foot, as the helicopters couldn't fly in that low-hanging fog. This also meant the practice schedule got rearranged, so we headed up to stage 2 first. The other racers were chatting about how the rain was going to make the tracks more slippery, and it definitely did in some places. Those rocks felt super slick under the tyres, but pretty much everywhere else the grip was improved as the dust was turned into grit. So it looks like there's a group of riders up ahead and they're stopped to look at something gnarly. I should probably get off my bike too and take a look, right? Yep, this is definitely Carnage Corner. Okay, that was probably one of the poorer decisions I've ever made on a bike. A journalist at the side of the track got a much better angle. I don't know if you can see those freshly carved switchbacky turns there, but that's what we're about to go and practice. Before we get to those bike park turns, there's some gnarly stuff to get through, and another silly crash, of course. Whoa. Phew. Yeah. Maybe inside is good?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy? What a beautiful day indeed. Race morning has arrived and race morning has passed and no one has hit any tracks yet. Basically the weather is atrocious. There's a lot of low hanging fog, which means that the organisers aren't able to get out a helicopter to rescue any potential injured riders. We've been delayed 3 times now. We're on version 3 of the rider start list, so I'll be setting off in just around half an hour, and I'm just hanging out in the race village waiting to pick up my timing chips. As you can see, like, this is the pits. Like, it's just like an absolute ghost town at the moment. Like, everybody's just hiding from the weather. It's not too bad now, but it was bouncing off the ground earlier. Yeah, no one's really stoked anymore. We were meant to have just 4 stages of riding, now it's down to 2. We're just gonna crack on and race 2 stages.
Come on, Jesse, stay safe.
Okay, we've set off from the start line. I think this is probably going to be the most bizarre race experience of my life. I'm just walking through the tunnel to get to the Senega train, which goes under the mountain. That's going to take us to the top of stage 1. Just going up the transfer to stage 1, just got off the train, sorry, and we're snowing. And I've decided to take the lens out of my goggles because they were just steaming up yesterday anyway, and now I'm gonna get snow on my eyeballs, so that's great. So the only view I've seen of the Matterhorn today was on my coffee cup this morning. So I've just arrived at the top of stage 1, which was the original stage 4. It's been basically cut in half. We were meant to be racing that top section there, but as you can see, it's covered in snow. It'd been absolutely treacherous. So we're starting it just down here as it hits the tree line, and it's gonna be sloppy is my prediction. So I've arrived in really good time, which means I'm probably gonna get cold. So there's a wee mountain lodge there. I might just go in and see if I can get some shelter. Ah, now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Frances Estelle Charles passes me here. She finishes up in 8th. She tows me along a little bit until I bash my bar off a tree on the chute. I'm about to catch the rider who was seated ahead of me. I caught her in the steepest, techiest section of the track, so it was kind of awkward to get past early on. The track got wider at the bottom of the chute, so she very kindly moved aside there. From here to the end of the stage, I just felt like a passenger on my bike. I'd been going for probably like 8 minutes by this stage, and I was pretty much spent.
So, made it down stage 1. I'm totally delighted that I actually managed to stay on in conditions like that. It was unreal. Got passed by one super fast girl who was seated behind me, and passed another girl on a steep techie section, and she was kind of halfway down it, so it was a bit tricky. She didn't really have anywhere to go, but it was cool. Got past. Felt super long. I'm so glad they cut that stage in half. Good to see the family there at the bottom hanging out. That was cool. Now we're off to stage 2. Okay, so after just one stage, I think my mech has packed it in. This looks supremely unhappy. It's the B-tension screw maybe. Maybe the clutch is gone as well. I don't know. I'll see if I have time at the top to get that fixed. Okay, now I'm thinking that I've gone the wrong way because I'm clearly above the snow line here, and I didn't think they wanted to bring us up this high, so yeah, maybe I've gone the wrong way.
Jessie Morgan.
That is me.
Perfect. 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go!
Here comes another crash for your viewing pleasure. Estelle passed me again on stage 2, and I was able to stay with her a little longer this time. I'm not going to pretend this footage is anything other than awful, so I'm going to keep this to a minimum. Know that while these berms look super easy and flowy, the surface was actually really sticky and sapped a lot of your speed. I found I was basically sprinting out of every single one of them.
Hi, Jessie! Hi, Jessie!
Go for it!
Looking good! This one.
Thank you. So that's it. First Enduro World Series done and dusted. Or not quite dusted, as you can see, but done anyway. Feels a little strange given that it was only 2 stages in the end. Sun's just trying to come out now after the visibility being really bad all day. Stage 2 had a big over the bars straight out the gate, like there was a muddy rut. I got up on the grass and then like decided to avoid the rut, and then the rut just turned into a little S-bend, and I caught the front wheel and it went straight through, out the front door. Landed on my chest pretty hard, thought I was winded. Turns out I was alright, just got back up straight on the bike, but it didn't take long, but you lose so much momentum. But it was grand. I'm just like stoked to be out there. The rest of the stage was uneventful. Really fast girl behind me caught me again. That gave me some good incentive to keep the speed up and push on. So that was awesome. And then yeah, it was really physical there at the end, with those carved berms. Like if you didn't quite get the berm really good, like you end up having to pedal out of it, and that was so exhausting. So yeah, you could probably hear on the video I was super puffed by the end of that stage. But yeah, absolutely stoked to just finish this event. Like I feel like I've been waiting for it forever. So yeah, thank you so much to our sponsors Met Helmets and Bluegrass Eagle Protection for supporting this project, and grateful to them.